Hello and welcome back, and in this video we're going to be talking about layout priority. So child views inside HStack have the same priority, so the space inside the stack is distributed by the parent. Basically it's distributed equally, and if the child view requires a different priority, it can be indicated using a modifier called layout priority. Now this works for all the container views, so it's not limited to just HStack. So you can apply it on VStack and on groups and stuff like that as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with an example and see this in action. I'm going to create our new example. And in this example, what we're going to do is we're going to basically have our 3 capsules back again. So let me bring them. Actually, yeah, let's type it out here, HStack. So I'm going to have 3 capsules. Let's go ahead and fill them with different colors. And we're gonna add an overlay basically with a text view. All right, I'm gonna copy this. And I'm gonna create another copy. Okay, all right, so it's basically spelling out DevTechie, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna limit. So as you can see, your shape views are basically greedy in nature, so they try to take as much space as possible, and we can control that at the parent container view level by saying, for the frame, we want the maximum height to grow as much as 200 points, not beyond that. So that's basically going to resize all the views. So I'm going to actually set it to maybe 50, which is actually going to look better. And I'm also going to change the colors of these so we can see whenever we are changing the priorities. Okay, so I'm going to change it to blue and indigo. Okay, so now we have these 3 views. Let's go ahead and add some padding as well. Okay, so we have a little bit of breathing room. There we go. All right, so now we have these 3 capsules, and these 3 capsules are basically sharing the space because equally, because they have same layout priority. Now watch what happens if I go ahead and say that the layout priority for the last capsule, using layout priority modifier, for the last capsule it is 2. Okay, so as soon as I say the layout priority is 2, both of the other text views, they disappear. The reason is because both of them have a lower priority now, and because shapes are greedy by nature and they try to take as much space as possible, capsule 3, which prints high or HIE for DevTechie, basically try to claim with their parent that it needs the space to render itself out. Now in this case, the parent does not have any control because it is basically providing, based on the priority, how much space do they need. Now you can actually have, instead of 1, you can have 2 views, and both of those views sharing the same layout priority are gonna share the space equally, but whichever view does not have the basically same priority, meaning it has a lower priority, they would not get chance to appear on the screen. Okay, so this is what layer priority does. It basically gives you an opportunity to control the display of an important information in case of when the window actually shrinks or the parent size shrinks. Okay, now this is mostly useful when, let's say, you are sitting on the iPad and you have split mode open, and you're basically going from full screen to a split mode, like a iPhone size or width space. In those cases, you may want to determine that what all views take priority to display the content, and this is how you can actually define that. You can say that these two capsules in here display the most of the information, so I want to actually give them higher layout priority. Okay, so that's what layout priority does. Now let's go ahead and basically put this in animation too, because just because we can do it, and animations are fun and it's an easy way to learn and see, like, how when we change layout priorities for different, how they actually sort of like animate together. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this example, and I'm going to paste it and create our new example out of it, example number 8. And then we're going to create 3 state properties controlling the layout priority for these 3 capsules. Initially, all of our state properties are going to have the same priority. Okay, so all of these basically are going to have priority 1.0. Okay, and we're going to bind this with dot layout priority, and we're going to say it's going to be basically, first one is going to be bound to the dev p, is going to observe that value, and the second one is going to be tech and HIE. Okay, there we go. All right, now next thing what we're going to do is we are going to basically have an animation modifier. Okay, and this animation modifier, let's go ahead and put this before our frame. Okay, and the animation is gonna be ease in and out. Let's go ahead and keep that, and it is going to observe these 3 values. Okay, let's go ahead and see if this actually, yeah, so it's not a compiler error, so I think that is fine. I've tried at most 2, and this is the first time I'm trying with 3 values in the array, so it seems like it actually works fine. Now what we need to do is we need to find a trigger on which these priorities are going to change. Okay, so we're gonna basically put this inside a VStack. Okay, and we're gonna create a control group just like before. Okay, and we're gonna create 3 buttons. And we're gonna say if the dev p priority is equal to 1.0, toggle it back to 2.0, otherwise keep it 1.0. So if it's at 2.0, put it like 1.0, 1.0, 2.0, kind of like that. So it's just gonna basically toggle or flip-flop between those 2 values. Okay, second is gonna be tech, and third is gonna be HIE. Okay, HIEP. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. So now we have all three, and these three are gonna act as a trigger. So as soon as I give dev p a higher priority, basically it takes the entire screen. As soon as we actually change the tech priority as 2.0 as well, it takes the priority. Now if I give third one the higher priority, basically all of them have priority as 2.0. So they're back on the state where they're sharing the space equally, because all of them have the same layout priority. Okay, so this is basically how we can control. Now, a higher priority takes the entire row. We can prevent that from happening by using a minimum width modifier. Now remember, the shapes are greedy in nature. They try to take as much space as possible, and we can tell that the capsule min width can be 20. Okay, and I'm gonna apply this modifier on all of these. Okay, let's go ahead and try this one out. So now we are actually giving dev higher priority, but since since the other two have minimum width of 20, this can grow only as much as that these two can still fit in on the screen. So this is how you can actually basically control to still have your views, and as soon as the size changes, you can observe the change on the size and change the text into icon or something. Okay, so basically you can collapse views depending upon how you see it, and you can actually sort of like, control the way your controls or your views actually look. So as you can see now that because of the animation, we can actually play around with mix and match of the different values, and we can see how they actually behave with each other in the view, like when they are sharing the layout priorities. Now we can use layout priorities to make sure that content is displayed properly. Okay, so let's go ahead and try out another example, and this time we're gonna have text. Okay, so I'm gonna create our example number 9. Okay, and this is going to have an HStack, which is going to have some text views. I'm going to copy this and paste it, change the remove the font, and oops, let me copy this one. Okay, so let's do just without priority. So it's like, basically on 2 lines. Now you can see that our HStack is doing as best as possible to basically distribute the space equally. Now let's go ahead and say that our dev techie and the last with priority or without priority is actually let's change it to with priority. Okay, actually this is okay, perfect. So now first one and the last one have the highest priority. So for example, I can say layout priority for this one is 2, and layout priority for this one is also 2, meaning that both of these texts are gonna be displayed on the screen with a with the amount that they need to render themselves, and everyone else will have to shrink and make space for them to be able to do it. All right, now you can try out other things as well, like, for example, you can increase the number of elements who have higher priority, and now you can see that these two are adjusting basically to have 2 lines, but this one is sort of like adjusting to make sure that there is enough room for the rest of the 3 elements to basically display properly. Now, reason I wanted to put this example in front of you because the other example was completely hiding your view, and this one is different because this has like a text, and text needs at least minimum space by default to display that value. Okay, so it's not gonna hide all altogether, but it's gonna basically still display that value, but it's gonna be like in a narrow space. All right, so this is how you actually control the layout priority in order to display your items properly onto the screen in any container view. This example was on HStack, but you can apply it on any container view. All right, with that, we have reached the end of this video. Thanks again for watching.